And we're back with some more fixed Pokemon animations in Sword and Shield. First up for today is going to be Starmie, the mysterious Pokemon. I first used Starmie as an example in one of my earlier videos to highlight the degree of degradation regarding Pokemon animation quality. Way back in Stadium 1 for the N64, over 20 years ago, Starmie's backstar could be seen spinning in its idle animation. A simple, yet effective and highly memorable animation quirk, seeing as how I've been able to remember it after all this time amongst hundreds of other Pokemon. It's an animation entirely unique to Starmie that accentuates its already peculiar design. Most Pokemon have typical features which makes them relatable. A face with a pair of eyes, ears, mouth, nose, etc. Starmie lacks all of that, which can make the Pokemon hard to relate to. Many people experienced a similar disconnect concerning the Ultra Beasts. People claim they didn't feel like Pokemon. A large contributor to this is the fair number of them lacking the aforementioned features, among other things. This means that you need to be extra creative with animations to succeed in bringing the monster to life, to bypass the lack of human-esque characteristics, to craft a personality of its own that an audience can be emotionally invested in. Starmie's animation adds a level of charm that would otherwise be impossible due to the limitations present from its design. The animation idea carried over into the Game Freak Pokemon games, starting with Pokemon Crystal. It was also used during Starmie's idle animation for the Gen 5 games. However, come X and Y, this all changed. Starmie was stripped of the charm that was established through its animation in earlier titles for no discernible reason. In Sword and Shield, Starmie appears rather lifeless. This, in conjunction with Starmie's alien-like design, has come across as cold and distant rather than fun and energetic like Starmie of the past. Here is Starmie with its trademark spinning star restored. The star only spins in one direction instead of alternating, but it gets the job done. Starmie is no longer an empty husk void of soul. Some of that lost charm has been returned, breathing new life into a character desperate for air. Next up is the lovable Sudowoodo, the imposter tree that hates water. When the player squirted a tree-like object in gold and silver, it would do a shake and then attack. This shake, as well as the animated sprite in Crystal, is most likely the inspiration behind Sudowoodo's animation in the older 3D Pokemon games. Game Freak Sudowoodo actually has no animation at all. It stands completely still. And I know I'll get a million comments down below saying, but Distant Kingdom, Sudowoodo is pretending to be a tree just like the Pokédex entry says, so of course it's standing completely still. Yeah, I know. A few problems with that though. 1. The dex is referring to Wild Sudowoodo, leading us to 2. The reason the Wild Sudowoodo do that in the first place is to avoid being attacked, which leads us to 3. It makes no sense for a Sudowoodo to masquerade as a tree in the middle of a battle when that camouflage's primary function, to avoid being attacked, is entirely negated by the fact that Sudowoodo is engaged in combat. That defeats the point of the camouflage. I appreciate the appeal to the Pokemon's lore, I really do, but it just doesn't fit given the context of the situation. Therefore, I managed to capture a familiar look. Sudowoodo wiggles again. This animation references the first bit of lore we discussed, which is more appropriate and sensible for battle, with the added bonus of being a lot more interesting. Before we proceed, I'd like to take another quick look at Wingull. The change I applied to Wingull in my last video was certainly mixed. Some loved it, others not so much. I discovered a new technique that made this video possible, so I wanted to take another stab at Wingull. Wingull is still in the air, but is no longer awkwardly levitating close to the ground. Wingull is certainly more cute in its origami state, but this, I'm sure, is a satisfactory improvement for those that preferred Wingull stay in the air with its wings spread wide. I was always a fan of Maractus as it's definitely one of my favorite design Pokemon of the 5th generation. Maractus has an animation in Pokédex 3D Pro that perfectly encapsulates the fun, energetic, and lighthearted persona of the Maraca-inspired cactus. Maractus' idle animation in Sword and Shield isn't bad by any means. There's some movement involved that conveys a similar personality to 3D Pro, albeit to a lesser degree. Maractus is more lukewarm and sedated in Sword and Shield, so let's turn up the heat. I feel this captures a comparable level of energy found in 3D Pro that was lost in the transition to the Game Freak 3D Pokemon games. Maractus is more lively and expressive, which really complements its colorful and eccentric design. Politoed, the frog Pokemon. Why isn't it the toad Pokemon? Anyway, Politoed, aka Mini Kyogre, before Pelipper rained on its parade, has always had a bubbly personality. Its comfy, dynamic posture and accompanying animation solidify that aspect of it. Over time, Politoed learned how to stand, but forgot how to be expressive. Politoed in Sword and Shield, like so many others, has fallen victim to a near total lack of animation that fails to make any meaningful contribution to Politoed as a character. Let's put a spring in its step. Politoed hops and croaks, two well-known and recognizable attributes commonly associated with real-life frogs and toads. This idol is very reminiscent of the one found in Politoed's animated sprite from the black and white days. The following couple of Pokemon are a proof of concept rather than a fix, granting us additional perspective of the Pokemon and exploring different avenues when it comes to Pokemon expression. Raboot's idle animation is pretty average, not outstanding, but not detrimental. I, however, absolutely fell in love with Raboot when it's idle in Pokemon Camp, as it uses its fur pouch as pockets, which I found to be super cool. So I wanted to apply that concept to battles. Whereas Raboot's original idol has it come across as hyperactive, this one mellows it out like it's cool, calm, and collected and has everything under control. Despite the inherent lack of animation, the dynamic posture makes up for it. That is one of the reasons why the sprites can be more expressive and are sometimes preferred compared to the 3D models. The posture of the Pokemon is typically more dynamic when it comes to the sprites, which can be just as much, if not more expressive than an animated model. Only a select handful of Pokemon that I know of adopt a more dynamic posture over animation, which, when executed properly, can be a huge boon. Raboot, I feel, demonstrates this perfectly, foregoing more animation in favor of a dynamic pose that complements its design. Hitmontop, one of Game Freak's best idle animations, was a topic of discussion not long ago. Some people, while agreeing that the inspiration behind Hitmontop's new animation was intriguing, still preferred when he was upside down. I felt compelled to entertain that idea, which led me to this. Instead of bouncing on its spike, Hitmontop spins indefinitely, akin to a Beyblade in a vacuum. It's interesting to see Hitmontop upside down again, but which do you prefer? The bounce act of old or the constant spinning of new? Would you rather Hitmontop be standing on its legs or its head? Let me know your thoughts down below. That's all for now. Before I close off, How wanted me to let you guys know that you can join the channel to become a member. For a single buck, you gain access to these epic Pokeball themed badges that appear next to your name whenever you leave a comment or chat during a premiered video or livestream. You also gain access to exclusive emotes and exclusive behind the scene posts. I will discuss higher tiers in a different video as it pertains to that. But yeah, if you enjoy the vids and want to support the channel, consider becoming a member today. If not, you can choose to support us free of charge by subscribing. It helps a great deal. Regardless, we're very happy to have you here. Shoutouts to my patrons, I really appreciate the support, and yeah, thank you all for watching. Till next time.